Hello everyone. Hi, how are you doing? I hope everyone is doing good. So welcome to another video. In fact, the last video of this chapter, that is plant growth and mineral nutrition. So in this video, we will be covering what is nitrogen cycle, nitrogen fixation, three different types: atmospheric, industrial, and biological. Nitrogen fixation. Then basically, I have broken down the nitrogen cycle into three parts: fixation, nitrification, and ammonification. Okay, so let's begin. You have studied this in lower standard also, but you might have not have studied into parts like nitrification, ammonification. So we will be doing this in this doing learning that in this video. As we all know, that nitrogen is one of the important elements in non-living in living organisms, which serves as a very important central element. Okay. So basically, when we talk about cycle, so it refers to regular circulation of nitrogen amongst various components of environment. Okay, so in an environment, you have living organisms also, you have the atmosphere also, you have the soil also. So everything will come into picture, which will help in recycling and reusing this nitrogen. Okay, so this atmospheric nitrogen, which is there in the air is made up of different types of gases. uh, Nitrogen is approximately 72% of total air. So you have nitrogen in the air. Okay, now this nitrogen cannot be directly utilized by plants. So you have different types of fixation, either by non-living agents or by living agents, which can convert this nitrogen into different forms and make it available to the plants. And then these plants can be used as food material by humans, by animals. So it is passed on to the plants, and from plants to the animals. Then the animals die, they pass out the excreta, it is returned back to the soil. Then from the soil, there are another group of microorganisms, bacteria, which convert the nitrogen in the soil to forms, to directly different forms, and finally they return back the nitrogen to the atmosphere. And then again from the atmosphere, it is converted in assimilable forms by biologically or non-biologically for the plants, and then the cycle keeps on happening. Okay, so recycling and reuse of nitrogen keeps on happening because nitrogen is one of the limited nutrient. It is not as such very abundantly like carbon available in the ecosystem, in the environment. So let's begin the cycle. We will first discuss about the abiotic nitrogen fixation. So abiotic and biotic. Biotic you are very much aware of. You have studied in 10th standard also, symbiotic association with the rhizobium, leguminous plants, methi root nodules, as an example, you might have studied. Okay, so atmospheric nitrogen fixation, what happens in this? Naturally, when there is thunder happening, when there is lightning happening, then ultraviolet rays are there. They provide, they give energy. Okay, the energy which is harnessed from lightning, from ultraviolet rays, from thunder, that energy is utilized to convert nitrogen to combine with oxygen. Nitrogen with oxygen to form nitrogen oxides. So now this nitrogen oxides can be converted into different forms and can be taken up by plants as an as a metabolite, as a element that is used for the metabolic activities. Okay, so this is how atmospherically nitrogen can be fixed. Yeah, naturally through the atmosphere, either by thunder, lightning, or ultraviolet rays, like that. Nitrogen getting combined with oxygen and forming nitrogen oxides. Now, how industrially again, this nitrogen can be converted into different forms, either through combustion processes or automobile exhaust processes, power generating station. These are all again sources of atmospheric nitrogen oxide. So they release, they make, okay, the nitrogen oxides. Fine. Then so these are the abiotic processes of nitrogen fixation. Moving to the biotic process. Now in biotic, you can see two categories: free living and symbiotic. So basically microorganisms which are not dependent on any plant for conversion of nitrogen to different forms of assimilable nitrogen. So they will do it independently. Okay, symbiotic, certain group of organisms, bacteria, they live with the plants. Symbiotic association, like the rhizobium species. Okay, they live with the plants, certain plants, and they will convert the ammonia, nitrogen from the atmosphere, N2 from the atmosphere, to different forms, making it readily available for the plants. Okay, and in turn, the plant is giving them shelter and nutrition for their survival. Okay, so that's what is symbiotic relationship between the bacteria and the plant. Fine. So moving to the biological nitrogen fixation, basically what is the point over here? Living organisms are converting N2 into assimilable forms, converting the N2 into assimilable forms of nitrogen and giving it to the plants for readily uptake. Plants are not capable of directly utilizing N2 from the atmosphere, so they require someone in the middle to make the food for them, sort of. Okay, so these bacteria, they convert atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia, and this process is known as biological nitrogen fixation. So it can be brought about by bacteria, blue-green algae, cyanobacteria. Okay, they are all called as, these are all nitrogen fixers. Rhodospirillum nostoc, Anabina nostoc, Azotobacter, Rhizobium species. Okay, they have special enzyme known as nitrogenase, which reduces nitrogen into different assimilable forms. What are those forms? We will see now. Fine. So this is nitrogen fixation, first part of the nitrogen cycle, from N2 to ammonia. Now from ammonia, it has to be converted into ammonium, and then from ammonium, okay, as you can see, the first step we have discussed. So nitrogen from the atmosphere got fixed by nitrogen fixing bacteria to ammonia, okay, to ammonia. Now this ammonia will be converted to ammonium, okay, sorry, this ammonia will be converted to nitrite. Even ammonium which is already there in the pool of the soil, we will see from where ammonium is coming. Uh, this will also be getting converted, can be converted into nitrite. So basically, this ammonia or even ammonium, so ammonium is already written, ammonia, they will be converted by these species like Nitrosomonas, Nitrococcus, then Thaumarchiota species. Okay, they will do what? They will convert this ammonia into nitrite, and find, and then another group of bacteria taking it forward, Nitrobacter, Nitrococcus, from nitrite to nitrate, ammonia to nitrite, nitrite to nitrate, NO2 form and NO3 form. This process from ammonia to nitrate, this process is known as nitrification. Okay, this process is known as nitrification. So some of the ammonia volatilizes in the atmosphere. So from here, some can directly go back to the atmosphere, like evaporates, and most of it is converted into nitrate by these microorganisms that we saw now. Okay, this process, this phenomena is known as nitrification. Okay, basically these bacteria use ammonia and nitrite as their raw material, as their food. Okay, and then they metabolize it, and they convert into different forms. So hence they are known as chemoautotrophs. Yeah, autotrophs means self-made, they are capable of independently converting, making their own food, and they use these inorganic molecules. Okay, so this is from nitrogen fixation. Step number 2, from ammonia till nitrate. Okay. Now we will study how from nitrate it can be returned back to the soil. Okay. In the process known as ammonification. Right. So what is ammonification? Now the plant has taken up, assimilation has been done. So you gave plant all these nitrogen which is available, okay, readily available. Plant will take it up, it will use it for its own metabolic activities, the plant will grow and all that stuff. Then this plant can also be taken up as a food source by animal, it can be human beings also. And then the excreta of these animals, and if, when the animals die, even the dead plants and animals, all of them will go back to the soil, dead They will decompose by different decomposers like fungi, bacteria. All this complex organic material will be broken down into simpler molecules. Nitrogen containing complex organic material will be broken down again to ammonia. Will be broken down into again to ammonia in the soil. As you can see in the picture, this is happening all under the ground. Okay, this is happening all under the ground. It can be brought about by fungus, another group of bacteria known as actinomycetes. Basically, these are not bacteria. They are they fall. They have certain characteristics similar to bacteria, but they are not completely bacteria. So they have a different group: actinomycetes, ammonifying bacteria. Okay, what is happening basically? Proteins are broken down into amino acids. They are then converted into ammonia. So the nitrogen from the amino acids is taken and converted into ammonia, returning back to the soil. So this can again be funneled over here. So this funneling and this recycling appears again and again. So that's all with respect to the nitrogen cycle. So we discussed the all the three aspects of it, and this nitrite can be, so from the ammonia it can be converted to nitrite, and there will be another group of denitrifying bacteria which will separate the oxides and H from the ammonia, from the ammonium, from nitrite when they are not required, and then they will be returned back into the atmosphere. Okay, so we can just go through denitrification side, how it is returned back, as you can see over here. Okay, so once ammonia is in the soil, nitrification happens, nitrite are formed, and then once nitrate and nitrite are formed, it will, some of it will be utilized by the plants, and some of it will be denitrified by the bacteria in the soil. That is, nitrogen will be separated from its components, and then it will be converted to N2 form and returned back to the atmosphere. Again, these plants, when they die and then they go through the same process, and then they are denitrified by some of the nitrites are denitrified and returned back to the atmosphere. So this is how the cycle keeps on going. Okay, so that's all for this video. So that's all for the video. This was the last topic of your chapter, nitrogen cycle. We have broken down the nitrogen cycle into simpler parts. Nitrogen fixation, we discussed the atmospheric, industrial, and more detail you have to focus on the biological nitrogen fixation, then nitrification, and then ammonification. So that's all. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye. See you in the next video.